Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about my absolute favorite products that are proper ancient. Like, these have been around for years, for yonks, for donkey's years, for decades. Maybe not that long. They are by no means new products. These are products that I have had in my collection for years, but also products that have been out generally for even longer, and still are products I reach for, still are products that top the lists in their categories and that I just still love and adore, and have truly stood the test of time, the hardest test of all, some would say. Certainly for makeup, like, products are like a flash in the pan these days. They like come and go, and then we're on to the next one, and then something better comes along. Every month we're finding a new holy grail, especially for creators trying new products all the time. There's always something new and better and more exciting. You know, makeup has come a long way, techniques, ingredients, everything is moving forwards all of the time. So to find products that have lasted for years right at the top is pretty special in my book. So first up, we're going to be talking about Mothership I. Now, I don't know if anyone else is aware of this, but this is actually the first ever Mothership. Do you know how I know that? Because it says one. I know. Not just a pretty face. That's right. I know, you can't believe it, can you? The first creation of its kind, and what a start. What a start. This is not the first one I purchased. This is probably the fourth, maybe, Mothership that I picked up. I think I picked up 5, the 2 Divine Roses. Maybe this was 4th. I'm not sure, but it certainly wasn't the first one I owned. It was one that I wanted for a long time and finally got my mitts on. It is the Mothership I have on my peepers today, if you were wondering. It's just gorgeous. It's interesting because you kind of think with these types of palettes, obviously, I think, what are there, 9 Motherships now, and this still really stands out. There is certainly no, like, Motherships that came out in recent years that fully trumped this one as far as formulas. This one is still right up there as far as performance, formulas, colour story, everything. It's right up there. This is probably either 2nd or 3rd on my list of, like, ranking my Mothership palettes. It's just truly stunning. The colours work so beautifully. There is not a dud in here. And also these special shades, particularly this one down here, this is one of my favourite ever special shades. Think on the scale of special shades, it's very easy and, like, user friendly. It's very smooth. It doesn't have much fallout, and it's very fine. So it just goes on top of other shadows beautifully. You don't get a whole crumbly mess. It's very easy to apply, use a small amount, and it's just so effective. So I think as far as, like, smooth textures in here, soft color story, the gold is one of my favorite golds. There's a gold in every Lumin palette, but this gold is gorgeous in a corner. It just is so pretty and special, and I think this is, like, one of her best ever palettes, and for lots of people it's their ultimate favorite because it's coolest and it's got such gorgeous cool tones. If you are a cool tone lover, it's truly not just the color story, not just the palette, but the formulas in there are still, like, the best of the best and still completely hold up against the most newest creations from Pat McGrath. So that one is a winner. So next up, this is actually, in fact, the product that inspired this whole video, because this is in my project pan, this product. This is the Natasha Denona Tan Bronze and Glow palette. So it's a bronzer and then it's got 3 highlights. This one is a cream, and then we have 2 powder highlights and a powder bronzer. Now I hadn't, that was aggressive. I hadn't used this for, like, months and months, but then it is in my project pan. So I wanted to start working on the bronzer, just the bronzer. I don't expect to pan any of the highlights, but the bronzer is on my project pan. So I thought, oh, I'll just keep using it in the crease and get some use out of it to get to hit some pan. But then the other day I just thought, oh, let's just use it as a bronzer. It's the bronzer I have on today, and it is such a beautiful bronzer. I really had forgotten how nice this bronzer actually is. It's gorgeous, and so many of you have said how much you love this palette. What a great palette it is. I think it's the best one of these type of palettes that Natasha has done. She's had many since this one. I think this is the first one, right? Is it? Or was Bloom first? I think Bloom was first. This to me is by far the best and the most versatile. You can do like a full face and eyes with this, and I quite often do just use this in the crease and then one of the highlights on the lid, and obviously then do my cheeks, and it can just do it all. Very versatile. I have got some serious use out of this, and it still stands up against my other bronzers, my other types of these palettes, and other brand that do these cheek palettes. It's still so good. And so many of you guys have told me how much you agree and how you repurchase this, because that's how good it is. And that, I mean, if something doesn't tell you a product is good, like I've repurchased it, in this day and age, in this economy, that is a good sign, isn't it? Next up, a blush, and this is MAC's Modern Mandarin, the blush I have on today. Now this is actually a split pan, a duo, and this I think was from last year's Chinese New Year collection, I think. Don't quote me on that, I can't remember. It's no longer available, put it that way. So this is a split pan, and it has Melba and Modern Mandarin. I barely ever use Melba. I haven't really touched it since I first purchased this. Modern Mandarin I owned before in like a pan, you know, like a depotted pan. And I had to buy this specifically because I just wanted it in a compact, because that's how much I love this blush. This blush, Modern Mandarin, has been around for forever. It's nothing new, but it is still like the best, one of the best glowy orange blushes known to man. It is one of these that, like, as you blend it, it gets glowier and glowier, and it's the perfect level of smooth luminosity. No glitter, no shimmer, just smooth glow. Very buildable, so quite versatile as far as skin tones that it will work on. If you know me, you will know how many peach, coral, orange blushes I have in my collection that are newer, that are more recent, that I bought this week, this month, this year. This one is right up there with all of them. It is just so pretty. It's perfect. It's the perfect, if you like a luminous, glowy cheek for summer, you like a peachy orange blush, literally, it does not get much better than Modern Mandarin. One of the OGs. Another blush that is sadly pretty much discontinued, well, it is discontinued, but pretty much dead and gone from the shelves. If you find one of these, they are still floating about. I've seen them in places, but snatch one up. In the old formula, if this is still around, snatch it up. This is Chanel's Elegance. This is so perfect. I talked about this in my recent review of the La Comète fail blushes, because this is like, if you are looking for your everyday blush, if you are a medium skin tone or lighter, if you want the most inoffensive, subtle, soft, natural, everyday blush, if you're a blush phobe, if you're frightened of blush, you can go no wrong here. These have sadly been reformulated, as we know, and ruined. That's what they've been. So if you find the old formula of these, Elegance, snatch it up. I'm telling you, it's so beautiful. Again, how many kind of neutral, soft, natural, glowy blushes have come into my life since that one, and it still is just a treasure. And I know that it's just such a timeless classic for so many people. It's outrageous that they did this to us. We are cross. Next, we have a little palette, a little duo from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Hollywood Film Star Bronze and Glow, like one of Charlotte's like original OG products. It has been around for donkey's years. This is actually the medium deep version. I also own the light medium, and it is like I've nearly hit pan on the bronzer. That was like one of my first luxury products, really expensive products that I purchased, and I was just obsessed with it. Still am, still love it. This one is my favorite. One, because the bronzer in here is a little bit luminous, which I love, and I just love the tone of it. I mean, I say a bit luminous, it's more luminous than I remember. It's very luminous. It's luminous is what it is. Not just a bit, it's luminous, it's out there, it's glowing. This is a highlight, obviously for deeper skin tone than mine, but it makes the prettiest blush. I had forgotten all about this, but I was just kind of going through my products trying to think what I wanted to include in this product, in this video a couple of weeks ago, and oh my goodness, so I picked it back up. This blush actually really reminds me of the blush in the Nudegasm palette, in the 4-pan palette, that is one of my favorite blushes ever. So I picked this up and started using again, and I was like, people don't know about this. This is like long gone and forgotten. If you have a deeper skin tone, this will just be a gorgeous highlight on you. If you have more medium skin tone, this, or lighter, this is going to be the prettiest soft peachy orange glowing from the gods blush. It's just gorgeous. You see the glow on that bronzer? Ooh, I have loved both of my bronze and glow duos for the longest of times. I think they fully still right up there. Gorgeous formulas, gorgeous combos, a lovely packaging, nice and sturdy and luxurious feeling, and really, again, like right up there with some of the best bronzers and highlights there are. They truly stand up against her newer products. If you still have these somewhere in the back of your drawer, get it back out and whack it on your cheeks. Why not? The only lip product I have in this video, but I could have chosen one of a few different colours here, but this is MAC's Chili, the lipstick I have on today. I thought about including Velvet Teddy. That one's still, again, two like classic MAC shades, been around forever. That's the same matte MAC lipstick formula, been around for a long time. Still one of my favourite formulas, still got some of the best lip colours out there. I think as far as MAC's concerned, MAC has definitely fallen off the wagon a little as being, you know, it used to be like the brand. When I was in school, it was like the gateway brand. It was one of the coolest brands that everyone wanted. Everyone wanted MAC makeup, particularly the lipsticks, the blushes. They were like it. I definitely feel like they've gone way down the ranking list for most people as far as our favorite brands, but their lipsticks and their blushes still to this day are like right up there, just for like the range, if nothing else. But the formulas are solid, but the range of shades and colors and inclusivity in their lip and their blush like categories are still unmatched, and Chili will forever be a classic. Velvet Teddy also right up there with some of my absolute favourite lip colours. The formula is gorgeous, very comfortable. It's called a matte, but really I'd say MAC's matte formula is really more of a satin formula. Very comfortable, has a slight shine to it, very smooth and flattering on more mature lips, lips with texture and lines, but such a classic, flattering colour. Same goes for Velvet Teddy. I was umming and ahhing between which of those two to pick. You can't go wrong with either. Next up, the KVD Beauty Tattoo Liner. I mean, how long has this been out? It's got to be a good 5 years, right? Longer. Who knows? Many years this has been out. This is still, to this day, I believe, the best unmatched liquid liner going. I'm not a huge liquid liner user, but I do like a wing, and I'm trying to do more and more wings these days. I love a winged liner. I'm not skilled particularly. I'm certainly not a dainty, artistic type. I have no talent. I have no skill, particularly when it comes to doing fiddly things. This is it for us. If you are heavy-handed, if you can't really do a winged liner, if you're scared of it, if you have hooded eyes, if it's really a struggle. You cannot get an easier, more helpful liquid liner than this one. It's just the perfect amount of color and pigment, the blackest line, but the tip is just the perfect fine tip, but it's also not too flexible and not too hard. So it helps you so much. It's just it. I feel like so many liners have come out after this one that are nowhere near as good. You don't have to press with it. You don't need any pressure. You can just use the tiniest line, or you can fill in and make a really thick line. It's so easy, and it doesn't smudge and it doesn't budge all day. I feel like it's still the absolute best liquid liner I've ever tried. And I don't think I'm the only one. Next, an absolute staple. I feel like this product is a staple for like 90% of us makeup lovers out there. We'll probably either have in our drawer or use like every day. And it is one of the oldest products probably in this whole video, and it's MAC Fix Plus. MAC Fix Plus will be something that I feel will forever be in my drawer. I've probably purchased 5 or 6 of these. I just always have it. It's a necessity. Usually I just use it to spray after I finish my makeup as like a final step to just melt everything together, take any kind of powderiness away. But also I'll use it on, to make a damp brush or something like that. I use it to dampen my sponge sometimes. It's just one of those products that it's, one of the first of its kind, way before most brands started doing like setting sprays and mists and things like that and finishing sprays. MAC Fix Plus was here. Yes, many, many other contenders have come out after this one. Do they do the job any better than this one? Not many, to be honest, not many. I think there are better setting sprays for adding longevity to makeup, but as far as finishing off, as far as toning down powderiness, as far as amping up eyeshadow performance, things like that, the original and the best. A powder, a setting powder that again has been out for donkey's years, but still remains right up there at the top of many, many people's lists when it comes to setting powder. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Pressed Setting Powder. Still one of the best of the best. If I'm actually trying to mattify my skin, which, let's be honest, is very rare, but I am sometimes trying to keep the center, my T-zone, mattified. And in that case, this is the only powder I reach for. I have other setting powders that I like more because they aren't as matte as this one. And I like to keep a glow to my skin. But I do not have, and I have never tried, a powder that I prefer as far as like keeping my T-zone matte, stopping oil coming through, keeping everything just like on my nose, little smudging on the center of my forehead. Sometimes on a day when I think it's going to be really hot and maybe my oil production might amp up a little or something like that. This is it when it comes to setting my T-zone. And if you have an oilier skin type or you just like a more matte perfected finish, so many people, go through these, have repurchased time and time again. It's still right up there as far as the job that it does, and it has again truly stood the test of time, an absolute classic. And finally, a second eyeshadow palette, very different to the first one we talked about, but this is Natasha Denona's Biba. Now, actually quite a recent purchase for me. I think I picked this up maybe, I want to say a year, but I feel like time has just ceased to have any meaning these days. So it's probably more like 2 years ago. Time has no meaning here. We're living in the Matrix at this point, so I feel like it's probably a lot longer ago than I think. But an eyeshadow palette from Natasha Denona that came out years ago, but still is the absolute top for me as far as a neutral basics eye palette. It cannot get better than this. I've tried many since this one. I've tried many before this one. Many contenders have come and gone. None quite tick every box as completely as this one, as far as the shades that it offers, the versatility, the number of shades, the number of options, the formula, the mirror, the packaging, the layout, the color story, tick, 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 tick. This is the best of the best when it comes to neutral eyeshadow palettes, everyday natural looks. I beg of you to tell me a better palette. I can't think of one. And also, I'd still say on the list of Natasha Denona palettes, this is right up there. For many people, this will be their favourite palette of all time, particularly their favourite palette of Natasha Denona's of all time. And so many have come out since this one was released, but it's still got the best formulas. It's still got the best colour story. If you are a basic bee like me, she's also a poet. You cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. If you just want a very natural, easy, office-friendly, tame, subtle look, look no further. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 ancient makeup products that I think stood the test of time, are still right at the top, still the best of the best years after they came out. These are some absolute classic bangers in my book. Please let me know some products that you love, that you've owned for years, or that are years and years since they were first produced. I'd love to know of some more little classic antiques in the comments section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.